Hello guys, it's Big Dave, and today we're doing a video on Sigmund the Highshield. So let's get into it. Right, so I'll go over what I think over his kit, what I think he looks like, where I think he's going to be useful, and how he's going to help you guys in progression. So right, let's go over the aesthetic. What can you say? I do quite like the handlebar mustache, definitely different. I can't think of many other champs that rock that look. It's different. A great big massive sword. No, what can you ask for? Aesthetically, I think he looks a little bit like Ursula. That sort of darkish Bannerlord's theme. So yeah, he's magic, affinity, defense-based champ. So we'll go over his kit. I'll tell you what I think of his moveset. So A1, fairer fight, attacks one enemy, removes any shield buffs. Okay, that's pretty decent. Also has a 50% chance of removing one random buff. So does that include a shield and another one? I guess so, that's how it's worded. And has a 75% chance instead when attacking bosses. I've thought about this. The only place I can think that's going to be useful is the keeps. So like on, is it magic keeps? She puts up 4 buffs, so it's just easier to run a stripper than to run one guy who's going to steal it. So I don't think it's going to become much use, but you could use him there. Is A2, Battlefield Beacon, attacks 2 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing Provoke, debuff for 1 turn, and has a 75% chance of placing the big decrease attack for 2 turns. I'm optimistic about this move because it hits twice and it hits, doesn't place. So try and think of champs who hit twice. Magna, Trunder. I can't think of many others. And because he's defense based, he could be made survivable. If the multipliers are high on that, he could be fairly good as a nuker. But I get the feeling they're probably gonna make that somewhere probably about 3.5, 3.8 at most. Maybe less, maybe 2, maybe, I don't know. But if that can hit, there's a very decent chance this guy could be good in arena. But again, it's going to really come down to how they hit. Because obviously we all saw what Magna was like a couple of months ago, where literally he's now effectively on par with Thunder. If you put him in Savage or give him Helm Smasher, which I've already done myself, which it does hit pretty hard. But I don't have a Thunder, so that's why I went with it. But anyway, I'll get a bit off topic there. So yeah, if that hits, definite possibilities for the arena, but my thinking is it's going to be low because it's a provoke. The only other champ I can think of that has a similar move is Visix on an A3, but again that hits pretty decently, so we'll see when the multipliers come out. I'll be able to do when the guy comes out, because I'm going for this guy, but I'm going for him just because I like the fact that he has a provoke on an A2. Anyway, on to the A3. Places a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns equal to 30% of this champion's max HP. Now obviously he's defense based. I have heard rumours that his HP is fairly high, somewhere in the 20,000 range. So if that is the case, it should be fairly easy to get 50k on him. Obviously you'd have to mix up the gear between defense and HP. So you'd have to go HP somewhere in the kit. Probably I would guess on the accessories would be my guess. So yeah, that's pretty good. It's similar to Brogny's A3, but without the block debuffs and the effectively reflect that you get off it. And it has strengthen with it too. So yeah, decent CC move. If he hits there, and that is as good as I think it's going to be, this guy could be pretty good. Could be, but again, it comes down to multipliers. So right, and then his A4 is passive. Whenever this champion is attacked, has a 20% chance of decreasing the duration of all buffs on the attacker by 1 turn. And it also has a 40% chance instead when attacked by bosses. Now, that could be good in Clan Boss, because obviously the Clan Boss puts increased attack on himself. But again, there's always the block debuff way, the block buffs way of stopping that. But it could be good, but again, 40%. Probably bookable, probably not bookable, so that 40% is 40%. I don't think this guy is going to be good in Clan Boss, purely because you're going to need decreased attack, which means if you run him and you'd have to run a decreaser because it's far too intermittent, because that's going to be a 3 turn at best, I think. If it's 2, then he's going to be broken. But my guess, that's going to be a 3-turn, straight off the bat. So, where do I think he'll be useful? Dragon, especially Dragon 24. He's not going to be good in Dragon 25 because it's Force Affinity, but he'll definitely be good in Dragon 24. No use in Spider, I don't think. The shield might help, but I highly, highly doubt it. The Provokes, you could use him as an off affinity tank on 24, which I believe is Force. 25 is Spirit, so you could use him there, but I wouldn't. There are far better champs than him at that job. Ice Golem for the waves, but again, it depends how hard he hits, and the decreased attack will help. But obviously on 25, the issue there with the Terror Beasts, because obviously they reflect, and if he hits hard, he's just going to die, pretty much. So yeah, where I think he's going to shine, for most people, somewhere in the mid, working their way into late game and trying to get Lydia as Faction Wars. Because there's a Provoke, there's only one other champ that I actually used in Battle Lords that did a Provoke, and that's Seneschal. Now obviously easier to book, obviously, because he's an epic. But I think Faction Wars is where, if people are struggling there, if you are struggling there, this guy will get you over the hump. Will get you over 20, 21. Because he's defense based, you put a little bit of accuracy on him, a little bit of resist to stop him getting feared. This guy will be really good in Faction Wars. But again, is he worth the effort it's going to take just for Faction Wars? If you guys are struggling on Battle Lords, I would definitely suggest getting him, because it's a guy, if you can do it, I would say this guy will be a hard carry, definitely a hard carry for Battle Lords and Faction Wars 21. So yeah, other than that, like a lot of people are saying that he might be on the same level as Brogni, because we all thought Brogni wasn't going to be any good, and he suddenly was. You know, no one really read his kit that well, I thought. I could see the block buffs coming in handy, but is he going to be on the same par as Brogni? No, I don't think that he is. I might be highly wrong, and if I am, I'll eat my words, but I don't think he's going to be as good as Brogni. I don't think... I know people who didn't do Brogni, who are now really stuck on Dwarfs without him, because he is, just for me, is one of the most OP support champs in the game. You know, considering he's got a moveset that rivals most Void Legos, to be fair. So, will he be as good as him? No. And obviously the event, the Fusion event that he's going to be a part of, just to clear it up for a lot of people, it's going to be the 4 epics. There's going to be 4 new epics, which they still haven't announced, by the way, and we are now on, and it's now Sunday, and they still haven't announced it. There's going to be 4 epics, and you'll be farming the fragments for those epics. Now, will those epics be good? I don't know. We'll see. There will be probably one decent one in there, but the chances are you won't be able to do the Fusion without doing all of them. So you won't be able to get a spare, as we put it, because they don't do 200. They'll do about 130, I think, 120, 130 the fragments for each 4 of them. I don't think there'll be a chance to get the champs from those, because that's, I think this is the one where normally, if I can remember, Brogni's weren't that good. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but chances are, if you can't do this guy and there's a decent epic in there, you know, suggest going that way of doing it, because then you can just focus on the one epic if that's what you want to do. And I will be going over the epics, hopefully when they drop them, hopefully tomorrow or Tuesday. It's going to be the next 2 days, I would think. So once the epics are released, I'll go over them and tell you what I think, but we'll see. But yeah, definitely good for Faction Wars, good for Dragon. He's going to be good for progression, especially if you're in the mid game. Definitely, you know, it's a Lego. You know, he'll replace, like in my case, he'll replace Seneschal in Battle Lords. I like defense-based champs. It just makes running stuff so much easier, even though it's not exactly fast, but it does actually help when you're running a defense champ rather than an attack champ who continuously dies. So, and you have to run a Razor in my case, which I have to in Battle Loads, because my team dies because it's squidgy as anything. So yeah, so definitely good for Dragon. Would I suggest going for him? If you're mid game, absolutely. Would I suggest going for him end game? Depends on your resources, but yeah, I would. I'm going to. You know, I won't lie. I feel that they are pushing these out way too much. But it is what it is. You know, You know, we only just finished doing Rorik. You know, a week, 10 days after doing Rorik. It's 10 days. I think, and then we're probably going to have another one then at the end of the month for Halloween, which we've had one every year. We had Harvest Jack 2 years ago, which I wasn't playing the game then. We had Elagaius last year, and there's going to be another one at the end of the month. So it's entirely up to you. But again, there's going to be a 2-week gap between the end of this event and the next one. So if your resources can deal with it, by all means do it. If the epics, which I'll go over in another video. Yeah, I'm quietly optimistic. I'm not overly optimistic, but I'm quietly optimistic about this guy. So yeah, by all means, guys, if you can do me a big solid and give me a follow, comment in the comment sections if you have any questions. My Discord will be linked in the description. So if there's any questions you want to ask me, like ask me in the comments or ask me on Discord. I stream Twitch 3 days a week now. And I do up to I'm gonna hope to get out 3 to 4 videos a week going over the content within Raid. So yeah, hit the like, hit the subscribe, really helps me out in the algorithm. So yeah, so anyway, this is me, Big Dave, signing off.